Green Bay Packers favored to win their fourth straight NFC North title with Aaron Rodgers now locked up and seemingly happy. He and the Packers and Matt LaFleur have won 13 games each of the last 3 seasons, but they have not been to the Super Bowl since Rodgers won his one and only Super Bowl 12 years ago. The win total is 11. They are minus 180 to win the division and one of the favorites to win the NFC and the Super Bowl. They're 11-1 to win it all. Rodgers 10-1 to go back-to-back-to-back MVP. Let's break down the cheese with Brady Quinn and Bryant McFadden. And let's start with Aaron Rodgers, Brady. Is the relationship mended at this point?
Well, I think he's forgiven Green Bay and really more probably the front office, if you will, if you look at the structure of it, whether you want to say it's Brian Gutekunst or whoever else you want to point the finger to. He's forgiven. I don't think he's forgotten. I don't think he'll ever forget the fact that they traded up into the first round, didn't tell him they were going to take a quarterback, and took Jordan Love. And it's not like this organization hasn't done something like this in the past. So they should have been better prepared as far as how to manage that sort of situation. He'll never forget that, but he can forgive them for it, and I'm sure he has with the contract that they've presented him. But at this point in time, it's his team, whether that's for this year, the next 3 years. I mean, they're paying him more than any other quarterback in the NFL. So B-Mac, I don't know about you, but like I said, it'd be pretty easy to forgive a team if you're going to pay me $150 million.
Hands down, no question. But the thing about Aaron Rodgers is this. I agree with you 110%, Brady. He would never forget what the Green Bay Packers did to him. And the reason why I feel that way, he still holds a grudge with the San Francisco 49ers for not selecting him in 2005. That is still a personal vendetta for him anytime he has an opportunity to go against San Fran. Now, granted, it hasn't worked out as well for him lately, but we know how he feels about that organization and why he feels that way. So, yes, he understands and know that, you know what, they made me feel better by giving me 50 plus per year, but I would never forget. So right now, the relationship is the best it could be based on the contractual agreement between Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers, but he would never forget. But I can tell you this much. He's happy. You can tell he looks happy. He feels good. And, man, just knowing that he has that $50 million coming in, I mean, will make all parties involved feel a lot better than what they were feeling a year ago around this same time.
50 mil goes a long way in Green Bay, Wisconsin. B-Mac, have you ever eaten a bratwurst?
No.
I knew it. I knew he ordered Cornish game.
I've never had a bratwurst before.
Are you shooting me?
No.
Neither one of you guys have ever had a bratwurst?
No.
No.
It doesn't look appetizing.
What the hell is wrong with you two?
I mean, I would ask the question to you. What's wrong with you? Why are you putting that in your body?
Where can I get it?
I mean, it's great. It's a great meat. A bratwurst? Are you kidding me? I just had one last week.
I don't think you want to know how that meat is made.
Well, you don't want to know how a bratwurst or a hot dog is made, but it's damn good. Okay, I guess I'm on an island here.
I guess I'll never get it then if you're going to tell me
I've
that.
had cheese curds.
Cheese curds.
Those are good.
How about Jordan Love? We briefly mentioned him. He's entering year 3. Obviously, this season, fine, not an issue. But what do you do with him moving forward if Aaron Rodgers is going to stay for years now?
You got to trade him. I mean, in all honesty, I think when they agreed to the contract with Rodgers, they should have moved on from Jordan Love at that point in time. Because here's the predicament you find yourself in, especially this year, if he doesn't get any playing time. He's now 3 years in the league. He's barely played at this point, and you've got to make a decision on his 5th-year option. And remember, when you make that decision, the CBA has changed in the NFL, so it's fully guaranteed. And so it would lead you to think, well, they're probably not going to pick up that option on him. But a lot of that would have to depend on what Aaron Rodgers wants to do. I mean, I don't think he'd agree to a 3-year deal for $50 million per year if he wasn't going to at least play that out for the next year or 2. So this puts Jordan Love in a really tough predicament. And I think, and honestly, I don't know how things would have worked out had he played sooner in his career, and we still don't know what type of quarterback he's going to be. I do know this. This has to be tough on him to handle mentally and really just keeping his confidence of what he can be as a player. So honestly, if it was me, I would try to move on from him now because I think Aaron Rodgers is going to play, he's going to stay healthy, he's going to play well, and he's probably going to play past this year. So there's no point in keeping this young man on your roster at this point.
Well, I disagree with moving on with Jordan Love, and here's why. Yes, we haven't seen anything from Jordan Love outside of the 6 ball games he's played in so far, but he is a first-round talent. they utilized a first-round pick on Jordan Love because of his potential. Granted, he's playing behind one of the best to ever do it throughout his time in Aaron Rodgers. And yes, Aaron Rodgers signed a 3-year extension, but let's keep it real. This deal can kind of be looked at as a 1-year deal based on where Aaron Rodgers is mentally and physically. So if I'm the Green Bay Packers, Jordan Love, unfortunately, it's a tough situation for you to be in as a competitor. But we're going to keep you in this organization as long as Aaron Rodgers is still here. And whenever he decides to ride off in sunset, now you become the guy. And like you said, because he hasn't played, you're not forced to pick up the 5th-year option, similar to what the Cleveland Browns did with Baker Mayfield. So because of that, you still got him for another 2 years after this year. So keep him right there within that organization.
You don't have him for 2 years. You're wrong. That's why I'm saying you got to make a decision now. If you don't pick up the 5th-year option after this year, he's got 1 year. Then you have to franchise tag him if you want to keep him. That price is going to be astronomical. So you're wrong. And that's one of the reasons why.
My thing is this. So all I'm saying is this, and the reason why I say you still have him for another 2 years. Instead of franchising, you can hit him with a low market deal. He has no market value. Who are you going to trade him to right now? He's played 6 ball games. Who's going to give you anything for Jordan Love?
You're going to then pay him and you haven't seen him and Rodgers could still be on your roster? I mean, at this point, like I said, you'd rather cut your losses, take what you can get for him. Otherwise, why would he sign a deal? Wouldn't you think that if you think he's a first-round talent, he'd field a better offer if he's on the free agent market?
He's played 6 games. Who's going to offer Jordan Love $25+ million right now, only playing 6 games? Nobody.
Maybe a team that had
the Green Bay Packers.
Well, first off, who's saying the Green Bay Packers are going to?
I'm not saying they should or they will or they won't. I'm just saying based on the market. The only thing the Green Bay Packers have to worry about right now is other teams. Okay. And there's no market for him.
Let's look at that's in a trade value. And yeah, you can make that case. I'm not going to dispute that. But you'd rather get something for him than nothing for him. The truth of the matter is, though, why would he want to stay and sign an extension if he's still sitting behind Aaron Rodgers? He'd rather try to get to free agency, get more money, which if you want to argue that he's not going to receive more money going on the free agent market and he'd rather sign an extension in Green Bay, I personally think you'd be crazy for saying that. But the reality is he'd find a better opportunity not only to play, but make more money in that instance. So why not go ahead and trade him and get what you can for him now instead of having ride the bench for another year behind Aaron Rodgers?
We'll see. I mean, when you look at the most recent comparison, which was the New England Patriots, they traded away Jimmy Garoppolo, who was a 2nd-round pick, and he had more film than Jordan Love. I mean, it worked out well. It worked out well for San Francisco, but it worked out okay, I guess, for New England as well. But the film was more advanced for Jimmy Garoppolo. Man, we've seen Jordan Love play in 6 ball games. He's thrown 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. If he doesn't play 1 game right now for the next year or the next 2 years, who's trading for that? Who's willing to give up anything? And if you're Green Bay, I'm not trading away a 1st-rounder for a 6th-rounder
to get a
6th-rounder in return.
3 games. He only started 3 games they traded for him.
He was 3-0. 3-0.
You're proving my point, though. Like, you don't have to play a ton of games in order to get trade value for a player that was highly drafted.
But my point, the point that I'm trying to make, I'm making this point under the assumption Jordan Love doesn't play one more meaningful game right now while Aaron Rodgers is there.
But
right?
Again,
so he has one start. He has one start. We haven't seen a lot from that start. He completed 58% of his passes. In 6 ball games, he's played 400 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Who's trading anything valuable to Green Bay for those numbers?
As I said earlier, you're not going to trade anything that valuable for him, and it has nothing really to do with the stats because you're going to base everything off of what you saw of him as a prospect. The bigger issue is if you trade for him, you're only going to have a year left under contract, B-Mac. So that would be why you wouldn't give up a lot for him. If he was under a 4-year deal, you had more control of a former first-round pick. You might pay a little bit more as far as what the trade compensation would be. But that's why they're not going to give up a lot in return. San Francisco traded for Jimmy G with the anticipation that he was going to start and play because they needed him to. But he only had 3 games. So you're literally answering, or you're saying what I'm saying. I just don't think you've convinced yourself of that yet.
No, my point is I disagree. I would not trade him right now. Backup quarterbacks are extremely important. If I trade a first rounder right now because our GOAT is not ready to retire right now, it doesn't help the team. Me personally. So if
He
you're trying
hasn't
to
helped
trade
the
him,
team, in your opinion, the past few years, so it doesn't really
no,
matter.
he hasn't. Because he's playing behind Aaron Rodgers. I mean,
Right.
how many backups will help the team at all when you're playing behind Aaron Rodgers, right? And that was the biggest dilemma in why drafting Jordan Love. So
Well,
me
they
personally,
drafted
I would
Jordan
not
Love
trade
to replace Aaron, like they drafted Aaron to replace Brett Favre. The problem is
at some point.
this has played on a lot longer than obviously even Brett Favre was there to some degree. So that's
and
the biggest
Aaron
difference.
Rodgers is playing. Aaron Rodgers is playing much better football than what Brett Favre was when they
He's the oldest MVP
drafted
we've
Aaron
ever
Rodgers
seen.
in 2005. Yeah. So me personally, I'm just saying I disagree. I wouldn't trade Jordan Love right now. I'm sorry, Jordan Love. This is the price you pay. You're getting paid pretty good money still, and we're gonna just ride it out until Aaron Rodgers says, you know what, I'm done, and then you become our guy.
Up next on the Brady and BMAC show, presented by Johnsonville Brats, the Green Bay wide receiver position. No Davante Adams anymore.
Right.
We've seen the stat. It doesn't really make any sense. Aaron Rodgers, Matt LaFleur, 7-0 when Davante Adams doesn't play. Bottom line is somebody or somebodies are going to have to step up big. Who's it going to be?
To me, it's a combination of Christian Watson, who they drafted in the second round of North Dakota State. He's got that sort of big play ability. Remember, they found Davante Adams in the second round. They've had a lot of success drafting wide receivers who've had an impact in the second round. So don't discount it just because it's not a first-round pick. And then keep an eye on Sammy Watkins. I don't know how much he'll pitch in. It could be more of a collective effort. I still think he's got some ability, and there's something to be said for a veteran, a guy who's been around the league, he's played a lot of football. He knows what to expect from a defense. Aaron's gonna kind of, at least I believe, be able to get on the same page with a veteran much faster than a rookie who's still trying to feel out the league at this point. So to me, it's a combination, but keep an eye on Sammy Watkins, but also Christian Watson as the season goes on, BMAC.
Yeah, eventually I think Christian Watson will emerge to be the type of talent many people, felt he could become, and the reason why they drafted him so high. I think to start off, I would go with Allen Lazard. I think with the experience he has with Aaron Rodgers, the experience he has within that offense, a big body target, especially in the red zone, this is his opportunity to really showcase what type of player he can be. And I don't disagree with Sammy Watkins, Brady, but the thing about Sammy Watkins, he's always injured.
Hurt. Yeah.
That's the thing. The talent is still there. He still can get behind coverage in the secondary. He still can come up in the clutch for you, but he's dealing with so many injuries here or there that prevents him from being on the football field. So the durability is a bigger concern in regards to Sammy Watkins, and because of that, I go with Lazard first, and I think Christian Watson will show up eventually to be able to showcase what type of player he is, and then maybe Sammy Watkins if he's healthy.
You don't have to get behind a defense when you got Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback because he throws that back shoulder fade so well. You just got to threaten him and make a guy like BMAC think you're going to run downfield. You turn, he puts the ball right there, easy completion, first down, moving the chains.
The best back shoulder fade passer I think I've ever seen, and that's Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
Yeah, it doesn't matter who's at cornerback if you've got the back shoulder pass from Aaron Rodgers. Speaking of BMAC and BMAC's kind of guys, let's go to that side of the ball. Let's go to the corner position. Jaire Alexander, he is now the highest paid cornerback in the league, BMAC. Where does he rank? I mean, is he a top 5 corner at this point?
Oh, yes. Yes, clearly top 5 in my opinion. I think the better argument is where he is when you look at the top 3 guys. You know what I mean? Depending on who you're asking. You can definitely, I think the consensus would say Jalen Ramsey. But when you look at some of the other elite guys, man, you got Xavier Howard in there. When Trey White is healthy, he could be in there. But I love Jaire Alexander because of his heart, the way he plays the football game. Why he's always around the football. And the thing that I love outside of his coverage ability, guys, tackling. He goes at the ball carrier or the wide receiver like it's his last. He goes out and leaves it all on the line when it comes to tackling, and because of that, he is a complete corner, not to mention his ability to play the outside corner and playing the nickel as well. So the versatility is there. I think he's a top 3 corner, and now when you look at the market value, when you're that type of corner, you will reset the market, and deserving so. Jaire is one of the best to do it in the National Football League, and getting him back in that secondary was a huge plus when you look at what they already have in Stokes and Douglas. Re-signing Douglas had a huge year, especially when Jaire was missing time. This secondary has an opportunity to be one of the best in the National Football League this upcoming year.
There's no doubt he's one of the best in the league. You know, I think it's always hard to rank these guys because they're asked to do different things depending on the scheme they play in and what the defense is asking them to do. So I would put him right there up at the top as far as how he's played so far this year. But, you know, BMAC mentioned a lot of guys. We showed a graphic with the top 5, at least how they're paid. All those guys, you could say are in the conversation between top 3, top 5 as far as their play at cornerback. J.C. Jackson we didn't put in there, but he's been a ball hawk lately. Xavier Howard you'd probably put as part of that group. Trayvon Diggs we didn't even mention, and he's been a ball hawk at least last year. Probably want to see him do it some more. A.J. Terrell down in Atlanta, he's been solid too. So there's a lot of guys that I think are deserving to throw in that category, but to me, Jaire Alexander is right there up there with the best of them, and a guy like Jalen Ramsey, I think most people kind of look at as like the consensus, top cornerback in the league.
Over-under win total for the Packers is 11. They've gone over that each of the last 3 seasons. 13 wins in all 3 seasons under Matt LaFleur. What do you see this season? Again, 17-game season now in the NFL.
Yeah, I put them at 13 wins. I think maybe 12, 13 feel comfortable, so I'm definitely hammering the over here. And that has everything to do with the fact that I think their division's pretty winnable outside of Minnesota, but they do have a first-year head coach. They should be able to take care of business there. And really, when you look at their schedule, outside of a tough stretch between week 7 to week 13, where they've got 5 of 7 of those games on the road. And there is a stark contrast between Aaron Rodgers' win-loss record at home versus on the road. That's that week 7 to week 13 area to keep an eye on. And then, again, if you look at the couple home games they've got, it's a short week where they're taking on the Tennessee Titans at home, but a team that was in the playoffs last year and runs the football well, which has been an Achilles heel of the Green Bay Packers. So that week 7 to week 13 is an area to keep an eye on, but I've got them winning 13 games, maybe 12, somewhere in that ballpark for me, B-Mac.
Yeah, for me, Brady, I think I'll go right at the push spot with 11 and 6. And here's why. I mean, we just highlighted the offense, talking about the wide receivers, and we just named 3 different guys who we believe could emerge to be the go-to receiver for Aaron Rodgers. That is a big concern for me. For the very first time in a long time, Aaron Rodgers he will go into training camp, it's safe to say, not knowing exactly who the number 1 wide receiver will be. And that will take some time to establish that position. And we know how much that has meant to Aaron Rodgers in the Green Bay Packers. I know people will say, well, they've done a great job when Devontae missed time and they were still able to win the ball games. Filling in for a guy like Devontae, knowing he will come back at some point in time is one thing. But knowing that he won't play for your organization the entire season is a whole nother thing. So I think that will take some time. I love the defense. I love the personnel. But I think we will see a few trap-like ball games for the Green Bay Packers. And I could be wrong, but I don't expect to see them win around 13 games like they've done over the last few years. I think there could be an opportunity with a difficult schedule when you look at the travel, right? Could really provide some trap elements for them. So I go 11.
We're looking to the future here for the Green Bay Packers, who are looking to win the division for a 4th straight time and looking to get over the hump and get back to the Super Bowl where they haven't been in over a decade. What's your best futures bet for the Packers right now?
That's it for me. Lay some money on this team to win the Super Bowl. I mean, the bottom line is the odds will probably only get worse once we get into the season. They start playing some of these games. So if you look at the fact that, they've got Aaron Rodgers back, it seems like he's satisfied. They did a lot of things up front to help solidify the offensive line, add some depth there. BMAC just talked about the defense, retaining some of those players, but even adding to it in the draft, and then finding some wide receivers too in the draft as well as in free agency to help stockpile it. So if you're looking at the NFC, you'd have to look at Green Bay as one of the top teams. And I think if you look at that division outside of Minnesota, you're saying it's a pretty clear path. So I love throwing some money right now on that futures bet for Green Bay, B-Mac, because, again, I think these odds are going to go down, obviously, as we get closer to the season or as the season wears on.
Yeah, Brady gave you guys the team element when it comes to best bet. I'll give you guys an individual element when it comes to the best bet for the Green Bay Packers. And I'm attacking Christian Watson. And when you look at his receiving yards total, I take the over. That number is at 615 right now. I see Christian Watson getting over 615 yards throughout his rookie campaign. And here's why. We don't know who the number 1 guy will be. We just highlighted the wide receiver position. I believe Christian Watson at some point in time will emerge to be that guy, and the same can be said for Brady. So with the uncertainty at that position will provide opportunities for him, especially with a veteran passer like Aaron Rodgers throwing him the football. You look at that odds, it's minus 110 right now. So yes, I'm going with Christian Watson taking the over at his receiving yard total, which is 615.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.